Hey everybody, how are you? I'm Tania from Simple Solutions today, and this is my daily Facebook Live. I haven't been very well today. It's been just one of those days, so I think my comment, yes it did, my comment went up just letting you know how to join in if you want to. If not, I'll just have a little bit of a chat with all of you, let you know what's going on, see what's going on in the world, and go from there. So today wasn't a great day for me, wasn't real 100%, but that happens, and everything keeps on going. My Facebook group keeps talking among themselves, products keep selling, people keep messaging me. I keep on doing what needs to be done in my business because of setting up automations and setting up systems. My VA lets me know of websites that need to be renewed. If there's a job that needs to be done, he can do it. All of those sorts of things happen because of just setting up systems and setting up automations and letting everything run automatically in the background. I still like to do a lot of things myself, and that may change as I grow in my business. It might not. There are some things that I like to keep personal. One of the things I always like to do is put in a personal comment for the day into my group. I don't want to automate that at this stage. And so, of course, because I wasn't well, I haven't put today's in, and I'll go and do it after this meeting. Thank you, Brian. You're always so supportive. I really appreciate you. Hi, Mohammed. It's nice to see you. So, yeah, it's just being around and being available, and even if you're not well or 100% or you're on holidays or you're just taking it easy, being online means that things still happen, and that's one of the things I love about being online and what I love about the business that I do. You can have a day off sick, you can have a couple of days, a week off with family, but automations and things running in the background just keep them chugging along, and as long as you've set them up properly, or if you're able to quickly check on them, they keep on happening. My products are still for sale. My business group is able to talk to each other. Emails can go out. All of the automations that run in the background that once you've set them up, you can often forget them, are really helpful when you're having a bad day, or when you're having a busy day, or you're just having a family day, or you're just having I want to stay in bed day. And I think everybody who has a business online has always got one of those days. And that's fine. Have them. You need days for yourself. You need days where you don't have to do it. It's different when you work 9 to 5. You're expected to go to work, drag yourself in whether you want to or not, or you have to take a sick day and, you know, all those sorts of things. But when you run your own business, you're the business. And the more automations you can set up in place so that things keep happening, and they're so easy to set up. Set and forget. My books sell on Kindle. I don't have to do anything about that. If somebody wants to get a free book, it goes through. It's automated. That's the power and the wonder that is being able to have a business online. And I love the fact that I can run my business online, and so can you. And if you've been thinking about doing it, or even if you're really, really successful at it, there's always ways you can improve. There's always ways I can improve my business. Just today I've thought of some things that, you know, if I'd set them up would have made things happen, more things happen. But that's also the awesome thing about being online and running your own business, is that you can change it as you need it. If you've got a partner, or if you've got a virtual assistant, or you've got somebody that you've got to talk to get things set up or to reach an agreement on, it's still you and yourself doing it. There's no corporate, there's no one you have to go to ask permission, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. It's your business. Do it. Thanks, Mohammed. That's a great comment. And that's exactly right. We have to adapt to the changes. Hi, Ali. Nice to see you joining. Oh, and thank you for saying what you said. I really appreciate it. These late nights I've been really enjoying because I've sort of felt more relaxed in them. Sort of my morning ones, which I've let lapse lately for various reasons, and I plan to start them up again this week, but it hasn't been worked out the way I wanted to. But I'm still doing daily Facebook Lives, and I'm still around and offering comments, and people are asking me questions with my late night ones. I like my late night ones. Maybe that's what I should switch to, but I plan to do more. I'm absolutely loving what I'm doing, and I'm actually going to be a guest on a Facebook page called Repurposes, and I'll be doing that later today. Hey Eric, nice to see you join in as well. Yeah, I think I am more relaxed because, you know, I've called it late night with Tania, but I'm seriously thinking of changing it to have a chat with Tania, because you guys are commenting. Anybody's welcome to jump in and have a talk, and that's the same with the morning ones. All of my Be Lives, my Facebook Lives are set up so that anybody can jump in if they want to talk about anything. I love interviewing people, and I love hearing what other people are doing, and I love learning what other people are doing. But yeah, these late night ones, I am more relaxed. I'm just kicking back. It's the end of the day, taking it easy, just saying, in effect, hey guys, what are you doing before I go to bed? Let me know what's happening in the world, what's happening in your world, and what's working in your world. Even late at night, I want to learn what's new and happening and what's going on. So, you know, Eric, you want to jump in if you've got time? I'm going to try to be more consistent in the time that I do it, and I've always been the same that way. It's never been set in stone that it's at this time in the morning and this time at night. I think I need to be a little bit more structured there, but I think the fact that I'm just being me is part of the charm, I suppose, if you want to say, of my Facebook Lives. You know, it's sometime in the morning and it's sometimes at night, and that might be disruptive for some people, but I like being disruptive because if you're complacent and you're set in stone, it makes you very hard to change, and being able to adapt to whatever hits you is something that I'm really good at, and I like teaching other people to think that way. So these late nights hit me with anything. Same with the morning ones, but with the morning ones I'm usually following some sort of schedule in terms of I'm talking about a certain thing. Tonight can be anything. If you've got a question, ask. If you want to jump on and chat, you can. And I'm seeing, you know, more friends jump in late at night, because obviously it's early in the morning for the US people, or in the afternoon. I don't know. Time zones do my head in. I cheat. I'll be honest. Well, I don't cheat. I use technology, use systems, and I've got a Windows PC, and down the bottom I can actually put in what time it is in various time zones. So I've got Eastern, and then I've also got UK times, because I've got friends in the US and I've got friends in the UK. And then, of course, I know what the time zones are in Australia, sort of. We've got 3 time zones. I remember somebody being quite surprised that we had 3 time zones in Australia. And I said, well, actually, we're quite a wide continent. Even though we're the smallest continent, we still take up a lot of space. I still remember a friend of mine came from Holland, and he wanted to know if he could hitchhike from from Melbourne to Perth. And I suppose the equivalent in the US would be from California to at least Nevada, maybe more, might even be to New York. And it would have been hitchhiking across a very unpopulated area that was nearly all desert, that was in, you know, no water. Towns were 2 or 3 hours apart. I've driven across Australia, and it's a long drive. It took us a week to travel. Admittedly, we didn't travel. Well, we did. We drove from sort of morning till night, and it took us a week to get there and a week to get back. So that gives you an idea of the size of Australia. And Australians are used to travelling, you know, 2 or 3 hours in just to go and visit friends. It's a given where we live because of the distances between towns. Eric, I like that. Yeah, Eric, all you need to do is click on that link and it should open it up into BeliveTV. I believe it works on smartphones as well. So if you want to jump in and have a chat, I'd love that. That'd be absolutely awesome. And I would love not to have to speak time zone, but unfortunately for where I am, I have to speak very solid time zone. So, yeah, that link will lead you into here and you're able to talk. Oh, I'm out of water. Oh, no, I'm not. There's a glass. Oops. So, and if you can't get on, Eric, let me know, because BeLive is supposed to be able to work with smartphones. Ah, there you are. I'll bring you in. BeLive is supposed to be able to work with smartphones. Ah, there you are.
Well,
I'll bring you in.
I'm actually in my office today, so I'm not on my smartphone, which is not normal for me. I'm usually on my smartphone. Well, I'll bring you in. I'm actually.
You'll have to turn the sound off. Turn the sound off. Yeah, I can hear you now. Turn the sound off on your Facebook Live or whatever. I should put that in the comments. Or just close the window down and you can see us. This is BeliveTV.
Right, I'm trying to figure out what to do here.
So if you either turn the sound off on, close your Facebook window that you had open that you're watching us, or just close the window down. This is BeliveTV.
Okay, maybe that'll work.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, and so you should be on just a Chrome or whatever you're using, and it should have opened it up into a window, and you can see some bits and pieces. And if people make comments, then you'll see it showing up as well. So this is BeliveTV, and I love using this because it allows me to share my desktop screen and add people in and also put photos on. So I've been using this since about April, so I'm really loving it.
I know you're kind of the queen of BeliveTV. I've used it with you. I've used it with Cynthia Merriman. I've used it with you now and with Cynthia Merriman, and that's it for me. Because I have to be mobile. I'm very mobile in what I do, and so I'm kind of the roving guy that goes from business to business and does my Facebook Lives from there and other places, and so and I like to do my Facebook Live in my yard.
Yes, yeah. Well, you've got a beautiful yard, and I've watched lots of your Facebook Lives, and where it comes in handy is bringing in somebody else, and that's where and being able to share information and all the rest. Because, as you know, I like to show people how to do things, and Facebook Live and BeliveTV allow me to do that. It was beta, it was free. It's now a paid product, but for the ease of it, like as you can see, it's really easy to bring somebody in. There's no download software and get everything set up. It's just, click on the button that says choose what camera you want to use, and then you're right to go. And then, as I said, you can share a photo, or you can share share your desktop screen, and I think you'll be able to see it in the replay, but I don't know if it shows you. Yeah, see, so you can sort of be changing the way that it looks, and you'll see that in the replay if you can't see it on there, but you can sort of play around with it. When there's 3 people there as well, you can play around with it. So and again, there's no special software, nothing's needed to be added in. You can just work. But as I always say, it's use the tools that work for you. And for you, you need to be mobile and you need to be on your phone. And Facebook Native, I think, is now added in that you can add in somebody really easily. So that makes it all much easier for you to do your interviews and to, as I said, I love watching your Facebook Lives as well. So, but BeLive works for me because I usually am on my computer, and part of that is because I have a Windows phone.
I'm sorry. Oh, all you people in your Android stuff and your Windows, it's like, oh my goodness. Okay, I won't pick on you for that though, I promise.
Well, I don't like Apple, but that I know I've got friends who love it and friends who have gone to it. Same with Macs. I've used Macs. I've had played around with Apple, but just not for me. But those who use it and love it. So it's horses for courses. It's what works for you, and that's what I was saying before. BeLive works for me. Native, using your Android absolutely works for you because your Facebook Lives are awesome.
Well, I've been really inspired by watching you do Facebook Live because I watched your very first Facebook Live. I watched the very first one. I found hidden my very first one because it was awful. It was just awful. It was 4 minutes long. That 4 minutes, I fumbled around, but I have gotten clients to this day from that very first Facebook Live. So I can't find too much fault with it. It's okay, but this is a growing platform, and you have to find what works best for you. You've done that, and you've done an outstanding job. I was watching you came into, you saw one of my Facebook Lives when you said that you had just celebrated your 30th. Was it the 30th day or was it the 90th day?
Several of them. I've been watching yours.
Yeah, I'm like, how incredible is that? Because that was about the same time I had done one. I had done mine for a year, and you know, I do Facebook Live in a couple of different platforms, and I'm now well over 300 Facebook Lives, probably approaching 400, and I just think it's a wonderful platform. I love the fact that you're encouraging people to be involved in it. I've tried to, I've actually, you know, we have a slight competing kind of space here in that we both have talked about training people on how to use Facebook Live. And you do a great job with the automation. I talked about where do you get your content from? And you know, because if you don't give quality content, you do an outstanding job of that. But if you don't give quality content, there's no reason for people to watch.
Yeah. And that's what, that's what I was talking. I've done a couple of different series, and people always say, what have I got to talk about? And there's just so many options out there. If you're an expert in what you do, and I keep telling everybody is an expert. There is no doubt in my mind that everybody is the go-to person for something, whatever it might be. There is something that, even if you think you're the most boring person on the planet, and I don't know anybody like that, but even if you believe in your heart that you're the most boring person on the planet, there is something that everybody goes to you about. And that's the thing you talk about. And for me, it's about business automation and Facebook Live and the automations that I find, which is like BeliveTV. I talk about it because it's easy. Yes, it's now costing a little bit of money, but for the fact that I can call in anybody from anywhere in the world, they can join in, we can be talking right here and now. I can download the videos, I can do all these sorts of things. It's my platform. But if it didn't provide what I needed, I'd go to another platform, because it's about what works for you. This for me is working now. If I find a better one that's cheaper or does a better job, well, then I might move. But I need to have a good reason to move. But that's what a lot of people do, is they flip rather than going, let's stick with this and see if this works. They go, it didn't work after I had 2 problems with it. That's it, I'm finished. And that's a waste of the time that they've invested. And that's one of the series I'm going to be doing in these next couple of morning Facebook Lives, is about time wasting. Because one of the reasons I love business automation is I hate wasting time. But everybody's—
That's why I love listening to you, because you get right to the heart of the matter of making the most of what you have. And that's the reason when I started doing Facebook Live, the only thing that was available was your phone. And at that moment, all you could only do it on the Facebook app on your iPhone. And so that's how I started. That's what I stuck with. I didn't do it. There was no reason to improve it. I have added a broadcasting software because I felt like I needed to get in multiple places at the same time.
Yep.
And that eliminated some of that duplication that I was doing. But really, it's more about the content, and that kept me from having to be stuck to the technology and trying to figure out how this works or why that works or how do I get this to happen, and just really was able to focus my attention on the content.
Yeah, and you know, I've got an Android tablet now, and that allows me to do it. But we did that testing the other day, and you participated in it. Well, it didn't work well, but that means that there's some improvements I can make. But it's about trying with what works with what you've got. And too many people look at, oh, Eric can do this or Tania can do that. Yeah, but you've done 300 Facebook Lives. The right. Confidence and the way that you're able to talk about anything is from the 300s. If you're saying I'm just starting out and I'm nowhere like Eric, well, of course you're not. You're 300 behind him. And there's a saying going around, I see it every now and then on Facebook, where, you know, the master has failed more times than the student has even tried once. And that's what it all comes down to, is if you're not willing to get out there and try, then you can't fail to learn how to make yourself look better or be better or that. And it comes down to, you know, who cares what you look like on screen? You know.
Well, that's just it. And I think you've been very relaxed. You are sitting in your bedroom, and you know you haven't tried to make this look like a studio. You've kept the spontaneity that was intended with live stream video. Live stream video was intended to be spontaneous. It was intended to be relaxed. It was intended to be casual. And if I try to turn this into a studio, then I take away from that. If I end up scripting everything, this is funny because the reason why it took me a minute to jump on was because I was printing something. This is the third time I've printed something off to use on a Facebook Live.
Yep.
The third time in over 300, almost 400 broadcasts.
Yep.
You know, it's only because it's a long paragraph and I wanted to make sure I got it word for word. That's the only, because it's intended to be spontaneous. People need to know who you are.
Yep.
You know, I want to do business with Tania because she does this. I know who she is. I see the real gap.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want to do business with.
Yeah. And that's what I keep. I did a 10-part series on Rehan's Wall for people who are in Pakistan, and they had all sorts of reasons for why they couldn't do things like freelancing because of PayPal restrictions. But I did a quick Google search, and there was 3 or 4 ways you could get around it, or options that you had. So people find reasons not to do things, and I'm totally the queen of being able to procrastinate and not get things done and fiddle fart around, which I don't know if it's a US state comment you've ever heard, but in Australian it just means you just fiddle farting around, you're just not doing anything. But the thing is, when I want to get something done, you know, I do it, and I take ownership of it. And if I don't do it, I don't go, oh, it wasn't because I just didn't do it. I haven't, this is why. There's no excuses. It's just, this is the reason why it didn't get done. But people keep saying, oh, but you've got these abilities. When I put my first VA book up, virtual assistant book up on Amazon, you know, it was 10 pages long or something. Or no, it had 100 reasons why you need to use a VA. And it was, I don't know, 20 pages, 10 or 15. I don't even know how long it was, but I still got it up. And then it's been selling ever since. You know, I do very little promoting of it. It's sitting there and it still sells. But I Googled how to do it. And, you know, I had help from people who told me how to do things and look for covers and all the rest. So I just asked around, and that's what people don't do. They go, I can't, rather than I can. And that's been mainly the focus behind most of the Facebook Lives I do, is there are things you can do. It's if you don't want to, then, well, you're never going to do it.
Well, I know. My Facebook Live yesterday was about a conversation I had with somebody, and how that I found myself giving him excuses of why I wasn't doing something. And when he got finished listening to excuses, says, "So when do you start?" And I went, "Okay, I'm starting to sound like everybody else. This is not good." And so I've started, and that's important. But yesterday, I have to go to the car dealership to get parts for my truck, and I'm sitting. So I drag all my stuff with me. Okay, I've got my laptop set up in the customer lounge, and I grab my tripod and my phone and my stuff, and I head out the door. And I'm trying to find a shadow that I can do my Facebook Live from, because it would have been easy to say I can't do this from the car dealership. Yep. But I do it every day at 9 o'clock, and I don't want to miss that for anything. You know, there are times when I've missed it because I've been on the road or just couldn't get a signal or something. But when you commit to doing something, then you just do it, you know? And so I'm standing there. People have asked me, do you ever get nervous just standing talking to your camera mounted on a tripod? And the truth is, I used to be really nervous about it. Now I just wave at people when they walk by, and it's like, people have always thought I was a little crazy anyhow. So let's just go with it. And
oh, look, I'm totally in the crazy people world. I know I'm weird. I know I'm different, and just embrace it. Nobody's normal. Who wants to be normal? Normal's boring. Yeah. And I was just talking about being the most boring person. I had another friend say to me the other day that I was unshockable. I often get told that, but you know, how people do things is how people do them. You know, if they're being rude or, you know, disgusting, well, then you call them on it. But the majority of people are just however they live their life, whatever they're saying is how they feel, and you just go with it and have fun and enjoy life. And exactly what you're saying before about excuses. I often use people say you should do things, and the answer is yes, you should. But if you're starting to use the should word, you know that you're never going to do it. You know,
Right.
if you're talking to somebody, you know, you should do this. Oh, Eric, you should do all of your Facebook lives in your house. You're going to go, maybe. What we both know is you're going, no, I like being out in my garden. So yes, you can say I should do it, and I possibly could say that, but we both know it's not going to work.
No. The truth is, I've had more people watch my live feeds from inside my pickup truck than any other location that I've had. And of course, now it's the middle of summer here in the States, and inside my pickup truck is a sauna in the morning. So I don't do it from inside my pickup truck. But that's a great place to do your live feeds from. I picked up Joanna Blanker came to visit, and we met at the coffee shop over here, and she got in my truck and she says, "So this is your studio."
But that's the beauty and the power of Facebook Live. Anything can be your studio. Like I've got my computer and all the rest, but I can grab my laptop and go and do it outside in the garden. You know, it's winter here in Australia, so I'm not likely to, but who knows where it'll go. And as I upgrade someday to an Android phone, which I don't want to, but I have to at some stage for my business. No, it's never going to be an iPhone, but I'll have to probably go to an Android phone. But when that happens, I'll be doing more Facebook Lives and doing more in my group and doing them as promoting people. Like, you know, if anybody wants to interview me or I want to interview more people, I love doing these sort of things because you always learn so much. And, you know, we haven't even talked about all the things that you do. We've just been talking about Facebook Live, but you know, you are known for your Facebook Lives and how interesting they are, and that's why I've stuck with that. But, you know, there's so many other things I could talk to you about, you know, just all the amazing things you do all of the time. And that's something I'd like to do in the future is do proper interviews. And when I say proper interviews, where I actually plan them.
You go through the agenda, yeah.
Oh, God, no, I never go through an agenda. No, I might have a theme we'll start with, but who knows where we'll go from there. But, you know, there's so many people who are just amazing and don't realize they're amazing and are scared to get on a Facebook Live. And once you start talking and once you start explaining your expertise or your passions, you forget about the fact that there might be people watching. You just talk and have a good time. You know, in effect, you're only looking at yourself.
Right.
And you can talk about anything and people watch. And if they're not watching, well, then you've got to find another subject matter. But if you put in the right information, if you share it in places where people will look for it, you'll get people joining in because it really is a powerful tool to be able to just express what you love doing. And that's why I like Facebook Live. Well,
at first, it was a little difficult for me to just talk to my phone. It really was. It was difficult for me to do that at first. And then I realized, well, part of that is because, you know, to date, you've taken 3 selfies. So that's probably the reason why you're not used to seeing yourself in the phone. So, but I've still only taken 5 selfies, but you know, I've gotten very comfortable with talking to, you're just having a conversation with people and not having a script in front of you, not having an agenda that you've got to get through. Somebody told me one time, well, you need to put an outline of your Facebook Live before you go live in your section introducing it. I said, I'm not going to do that. Of the Facebook Live. Like, this is my planning right here. This is the most detailed planning I've ever done. And
nice to see you joining. And I'm the same. The most I've ever done is I might have, okay, over the next 5 days, I'm going to talk about these 5 lines of topics, and that's about it. And the only reason I've done the 5 lines of topics is I've started and then meandered all over the countryside and then come back and gone, yes, I actually did mean I was going to talk about, but I've run out of time because I've got to get to work, so I'll catch you up tomorrow. But yeah, it's the spontaneity, the fact that people can ask you questions, and exactly as you're saying, you know that you want to work with somebody because you can see them and hear them online, and you can actually see their expressions, or if a question get asked, and if you're sitting there like, you know, a deer in the headlights going, yes, I've just told you I'm an expert in, and you've asked me a question and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that. You've just, but if you say, hey, I'm an expert in, and they've asked you something and you can give them an answer, you've totally proved that you know what you're talking about without a script, without having to go and Google, without having to, you know, I'll be right back. Give me one moment. You know, all those sorts of things. It's right in front of you. You're there. It's ask me a question, and if I can't answer, then I obviously don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest fear that people have, is that somebody's going to ask a question that you don't have an answer to. That's maybe the biggest fear that they have. I had we're very interactive, and sometimes I'll have a period of time where I'll just dump a lot of information because that was my goal, that was my purpose, and when you do that, you come across as though you're afraid to answer a question. And I don't want to do that. I really don't ever want to put myself in that position where people think that I'm uncomfortable asking a question. So, and people appreciate your honesty. I've been asked things and I've said, I don't really know. Hang on a minute, or give me some more information. I very rarely run into I don't know anything at all. It's usually I'm not an expert in that. Ask somebody else. And I've actually said to people, anything to do with business or whatever, I've never been stumped after a few questions about being able to give them some advice to help them, because I've worked in so many different industries. I've worked in business for so many years that sort of anything you asked, I at least can usually link it to something else and be able to say, is that like, or is that similar to, and then from there, right to go, because business is business is business. It sounds trite, but you want people to come and buy your products, and to sell them, you have to do a number of different things. And once you know what those basic things are, it's the same. It doesn't matter whether you're a single entrepreneur selling 3 ebooks a month or whatever, or you're a multinational company selling billions of dollars a year. There's some basic things that apply for every single business. And once you're aware of them, people start finding out that they're all similar. But you think, oh, I'm not the same as, but you've got to collect money. You've got to be able to make sales. You've got to be able to have a customer support of some sort. And you have to pay taxes. Yeah. You have to provide some value to your customer that they're going to pay you for. And if you do those two things, then everything else kind of fits around that. And it's not that complicated. We make life way too complicated sometimes.
And that was one of the reasons why I called my business Simple Solutions today, because I'm basically the laziest person I know, in that I hate wasting time. So if it looks like it's going to waste time, I just won't do it, which comes across as laziness. And really what it is that it's looking at how can you get the best value out of your time. And for a lot of people, they just stress over making it so complicated that something's really simple can't be covered. And I think I may have lost you, Eric. I'm not sure. I'll see if you have frozen. Just refresh your screen and you'll be able to come back in. Then it sounds like you might be trying to get back in. So just refresh your screen if you can't see the screen. And the reason I say I'm lazy is exactly what I was saying. I try and find the easiest. There you are. Sounds like you're coming back. I find the easiest ways to do things good, because it's waste time and money when you're doing things the hard way. Do it the simplest way. What we were talking about earlier, use what you've got. I'm in my bedroom. I could have spent money on backdrops and got things hanging down from the ceiling, or I only have really two rooms in the house, so it'd either have to be in the lounge room or the kitchen, which isn't really a great setup for your business anyway. So this is where I conduct my business from. So why try and hide it and cover it up? This is the real me. This is where I work from.
Yeah.
Keeping it simple. I don't want to go and spend money on an office when I'm
just be you. There's two things.
Oops, looks like I lost you. So if you want to join back in, just hit there you are. I'll add you back in now. Just waiting to see your camera. I'll see if that'll allow you. There we go. Perfect. There you go. What's the bell ringing in the background there?
Is that better?
Yes, that's much better. You were saying something when you got cut off?
I don't have any.
Oh,
this is your platform. I don't know what's going on.
Did you try? You want to refresh the screen again?
Two things I want to follow up with, and I'm gonna have to run.
Yep.
The two things that you've mentioned that are very much a part of what I just did. I'm hoping that was sufficient. Let's see here. Are you? Can you hear me okay now?
I can hear you. Your screen's a little bit fuzzy, but I can hear you.
Apparently
okay.
Not. Okay. All right. I think we're going to have to sure we're going to be able to pull this off.
That's all right.
Okay. If you can hear me okay, I want to talk about the two things that I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to have to run. The two things that you said that are important, and this is my basic sales training, that is sell what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
I know it seems oversimplified, but if you sell what you got or use what you have or whatever it is, it's if you're constantly looking at what you don't have, you're going to be in trouble.
Yep, absolutely.
And you come up short. The second thing is, and you've heard me say this often, and it's my mantra, simple makes awesome easy.
Mm-hmm.
And if we'll focus on being simple, we'll become awesome.
Totally agree. Yeah. And
I don't have to run. I will talk.
Thank you so much for joining in, Eric. It was a pleasure to have you here. Hi, Vicky. Nice to see you in. I know I said hi earlier. So that was a great deal of fun for me. So I absolutely loved having Eric join in, and with these late nights, and also the early mornings, I'll always put in the link to be able to join in. So if you're interested, jump in. I've got to head to bed because I've got a very early morning interview. I have to make sure I'm ready for that. I've got every alarm set in the house to make sure I wake up in time because it's at 2 a.m. my time. Thank you all very much for joining in, and thank you so much, Eric, for jumping in and saying hi and talking. I absolutely love that. And I'll catch up with everybody in my next Facebook Live. Thank you so much. See you all. Bye.